Here with him is Roger, the master boat builder. He was responsible for building this wonderful Seneca Chief here with amongst the crew. And I asked him, how long does it take to build a boat like this? And he's going to tell us.
So this boat that we built took just over 4 years. COVID hit in the middle there, so that's a little distracted time. But we do community boat building. And so our job isn't just to build the boat. We're not a commercial boat yard. What we are is a community boat building and educational center. We use boat building as an educational process. One of the reasons we do that is we have a whole generation of young people who haven't had any kind of industrial arts training. And we've set up a program called the Hand-to-Hand program that's run by our educator, Chelsea Moore. And our objective is to get the kids hands-on tools building boats. Because if you can build a wooden boat, we think you can build anything. Because ultimately, the thing about a wooden boat is you have to build it right for it to float. So if the boat floats, you build it right. And for kids, and for adults actually, that is a litmus test. That's a black and white truth. If it floated because it was built right. And so that's kind of at the root of all of our programming. And we use boat building as an educational process, knowing that the kids are going to start out with a stack of raw boards and they're going to end up with a boat that floats. And all along in that process, that kid, that child, that young person is developing the concept of craftsmanship and the use of tools. They know then that you can actually use tools. They know that you can take a stack of raw material, whatever it is, and then you learn processes. Like we teach them boat building, but they're woodworking processes. And once you've mastered those processes, you will end up with a product, whether it's a wooden boat or a piece of furniture or a house, it doesn't matter. The fact that you have to build the wooden boat right so that it will float requires a level of craftsmanship that's not really common in all forms of woodworking. Your chair doesn't have to float. Your airplane does have to fly, so building an airplane has a similar degree of craftsmanship, but boats ultimately have to be built to a higher standard so that they will in fact float. So in the end, after the kids build the boats, then they're sitting in the water in a boat they built. There's no way to tell you the delight that a kid has when they have that success. I built this boat, I'm floating in it. And from that point on, they have the skills and they have the boat and they have the whole world. So that is the underlying process that we go through, that we did when we built the Seneca Chief. Greg Dudley, who was the other boat carpenter on it, and I spent a lot of time teaching our volunteer crew how to build wooden boats, because there were no other wooden boat builders on the crew out of the 220 people we had. We had rocket scientists, we had clerks, we had homemakers, we had teachers, we had engineers, we had a lot of people, but no real professional woodworkers even, and certainly no other boat builders except for Greg Dudley and I. So we taught them how to do this, and we were preserving the skills, because the only way to really preserve those skills is to put your hands on the tools, get those tools on the raw materials, and build the boat. So it took us 4 years. Now, if we were to build a second boat, we learned a lot building this first one, and so did our crew, and we have a really well-trained crew, but it is community boat building. So if we did it as a professional crew, this boat could probably be built the way they did the originals in maybe 6 months. You'd build it over the winter months and then launch it in the summer months. We would probably take 2 years, because the important thing to us is that we're doing it with volunteers who are learning the skills, preserving the skills, practicing those skills, and they're getting back out into the public hands. And it's a very satisfying project, even though it's not all that boat building efficient. So there's your answer.
Thank you.